Hello, welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Chat About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed already. I couldn't do this without you. I'm trying to get to 1,200 subscribers. Can I do it? Who knows? The new Snow White trailer has finally dropped. Remember, Disney delayed this one after the PR nightmare that was Rachel Zegler. Now, I get it. I know she's young. She says things that perhaps, are not actually needed. All of these actors are actually coached on what they need to say. Maybe, just maybe, she went bit beyond that. But let's just put it like this. It ended up going to reshoots. All sorts of things were happening. It is spent loads of money and it is just purely a chaotic mess. And I have watched the trailer. I've got some screen grabs for you. So we'll take a look at those and then we'll take a look at a quick article. Now, I do not have the extension thing that allows you to see the dislikes. Other YouTubers have that. So by all means, go and find it out from them. I'm just not installing it on my computer as of yet. I find that it doesn't necessarily add anything to my channel per se, because I don't often cover trailers and how they get ratioed. But it's got 54K likes, 54K plus, because they don't give you an exact number. It's more of a roundup on YouTube. And then it's got over 5 million views and it's 12 on trending. And this was at the time of recording Sunday, the 11th of August, 10 p.m. Now, this one that they have been raving about is about probably 90% CGI and 10%, and that is being generous, of live action actors. Yes, the animals are animated, the dwarves are animated because there is one dwarf to rule them all. They are giving you the shots that will make you want to see it. Let's just put it like this. They are saying this is still Snow White. This is what I am getting. This is still Snow White. You see, you got at the top there the dwarves, animated dwarves, I might add. It's problematic to put little people in caves. But yes, you've got the CGI dwarves walking along, and the dopey does that random little skip that he does to catch up. And then for some reason, the dwarves are actually cleaning whilst Rachel Zegler is singing Whistle While You Work. And we've got Gal Gadot, and there's the evil queen and the magic mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? Probably not this film, that's for sure. And then, of course, you've got the poison apple, because you really need that in Snow White. And this will be in it. We promise you this will be in it. Oh, and there's Andrew Burnett, one of the prince. Well, he's not really the prince, is he? He's a bandit, I would actually say. I'm surprised he even made it into one scene, because it's Hollywood, baby, after all. And of course, just a reminder, Snow White falls through the hole in the forest, ends up with the animals, and accepts the poison apple from the old hag at the end, which is Gal Gadot. There's one thing that I find really problematic, and it is the lack of casting for the dwarves. You have 7 characters, the dwarves that are there to actually be filled. And in my opinion, this is something that a lot of little people would probably actually want to do. Yes, not all of them want to actually play dwarves and go into their stereotype, but there will be actors out there willing to do it. I mean, Disney's doing so great with the DEI these days that we have a Latino as Snow White. It's a shame that they couldn't really think about our dwarves as well. But then again, you know what? That is Hollywood, baby. This is how DEI works in accordance with what Disney actually does. And it's not just me, really, that's not entirely happy about this whole entire situation. This comes from Forbes. It's written by Eric Kane. This will be linked as well. There's one huge problem with Disney's live action Snow White trailer. Apparently, in the cultural moment, we are supposed to be so sensitive to prejudices against our concept of dwarves and halflings and what have you, that we no longer cast little people in our shows and movies. Of course, the dark irony here is that there are many little people actors who would love to get roles in movies like Snow White and shows like Time Bandits. Honestly, I'm still a little annoyed with Peter Jackson for not casting little people in the Hobbit roles in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And yeah, I do understand that as well, actually. I get it. And of course, the very diverse and progressive Rings of Power commits the same erasure with its Harfoots and Storers, which are certainly a rainbow coalition, but include zero little people as actors. Huzzah for progress. And do you remember what Peter Dinklage said? And to be honest, this is partly why this has ended up the way that it is, CGI dwarves, because apparently little people can't actually fill the roles because it's so archaic. Literally, no offense to anything, but I was sort of taken aback. They were very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that blah, 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 backwards story about seven dwarves living in a cave together. No, they live in a house, but there you go. Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. Well, I don't know about that, but you play a dwarf when it suits you, so, go figure. The irony is that rather than change the nature of the story to not include dwarves at all, if that is such a harmful stereotype, which I don't think little people community would necessarily agree with, Disney simply animated the dwarves instead, which is actually very rude. Removing little people from the cast entirely, or rather not entirely, since we know LP actor Martin Kleber voices Grumpy. I thought he was voicing them all, but maybe I'm mistaken. But entirely from the screen. So he's not appearing on screen at all. He's just doing the voice. And it's not like there are a ton of LP roles out there, especially when so many of them are taken up by regular sized people. The only major show in recent history to have LP in it was Disney's Willow reboot. And it was most likely daikini and genuinely awful. Writing at IndieWire, Kristen Lopez notes, if you are a member of the LP community or the disability community in general, you've seen this story before. The media frenzy, followed by backpedaling, followed by the eventual erasure of disability altogether. And you know what? If we say that everybody exists, then you can't erase another group of people just for the sake of something else. That's my opinion. Not only is this bad for LP actors, it's bad for the movie. Frankly, watching these dwarves in action is a bit jarring. They are so clearly animated when standing next to the live action Snow White. I agree with that. Go and check out the trailer to see for yourself. It's one thing when it's a deer or a bunny rabbit, another when it's an actual person, albeit a little person. This is a pretty big mistake on Disney's and directors Mark Webb's part. Very disappointing all around, though nothing new for the disastrous run of mediocre live action remakes of Disney classics. At least this one looks colourful, unlike the bland, desaturated look like most of these movies have been given. Now, I still think that this story, this retelling, this live action of this film is going to deviate from the actual main plot that Disney already did. They have made an absolute mess of it from what I have seen. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see as the press tour is probably going to commence very soon. Let me know what you think. Remember to chat about it. Don't shout about it. Like the video if you would like to like the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.